Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're having a great weekend, a great Saturday so far. I thought I would give you all an update on what looks to be a crazy week of weather next week. I won't say crazy as far as the entire week, but we've been talking about this for last few videos. But there's the potential for a big time East Coast storm system next week that could potentially bring our first significant snowfall for certain areas. Mainly talking about the higher elevations of the mountains of the Appalachian Mountains, but areas outside the mountains could see snow also. So we're going to talk about that, break down what's going on. There's a cold front. The GFS has definitely started to trend more towards a colder scenario. So it does look like it's going to happen. And it looks like we're going to have our coldest air mass of the season move in for our first week in November. So it's been very, very fall-like around here today, here in South Carolina, and I think across the entire eastern U.S. Very big time fall vibes. I'm loving it. I took a stroll around my neighborhood and it just really felt like fall out there. Just cloudy conditions, a breeze, cool temperatures around 60 degrees, and it's just been nice. So we're going to break down what's going on here and really talk about this storm system that really has some potential. So if you guys have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button for me. Like the video if you like it. And I look forward to talking about winter weather as we enter the colder months. I really look forward to it. So let's get going here. First off, I want to start this video off. Buddy of mine named Evan Fisher. If you're on Twitter, you probably heard of him. If you're following the weather world, I am on Twitter, guys. If y'all want to follow me on there, but check it out. This is probably going to be kind of wacky resolution on your screen, but this is Mount Mitchell. It was actually snowing. Mount Mitchell is well above 6,000 feet, so very, very far up in the atmosphere. But with this cold air aloft really being entrenched into the atmosphere, it allowed for the higher elevations of the mountains of North Carolina, really, really high up, well above 6,000 feet, to see snow. And this is Mount Mitchell. Got some snowfall today. It was enough to put a little dusting on the ground in certain areas, so very interesting for sure. So what's going on here is what's left of this upper level low will continue, or cut off low will continue to move on through. Beautiful weather setting up for Halloween. If you want to know what's going on for Halloween, just look at my video this morning. I give you all a detailed weather forecast on Halloween and the weekend. But going forward here, it looks like some nice average temperatures throughout the week, but it looks like a nice cross polar flow sets up from the Arctic, meaning you have a nice origin of cold air linking in. This will cause troughing and ridging in the west and the Canadian and the western U.S. And then you see these lines dipping down here. So there'll be a big time trough, which means the jet stream will dive down deep, which means low pressures will ride that jet stream, which means if there's any kind of storm that develops, it will develop down here somewhere and has a chance to link up with some cold air. So that's something we need to watch out for. And it's really looking like Thursday onward that this is going to be the case. So right here, we'll look at temperatures really going into the next few days. So we're getting into Tuesday. It starts to warm up, but already by Tuesday, the boundary sets up. Here comes that colder air. And really, I mean, check it out. You can obviously tell where some kind of cold front is. These are around high temperatures for Tuesday. You got 70s, beautiful weather. And even you folks in the 70s, very crisp air. Nothing real humid about it. But, if you're around this boundary here in the Mid-South, it points north into Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, very chilly week. And then this cold air begins to sink down a little bit more. Widespread frost and freezes to the interior, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic. And, so Wednesday morning, it could be very cold. And as we get into midweek next week, into the rest of the week, into the weekend, it really starts to cool down further and further south. Notice potential highs off the latest GFS have been trending actually cooler in the short term. So it looks like we're going to get into this cooler weather much faster, potentially. We get into, Thursday morning. Doesn't look super cold, but you see these 30s and 40s starting to sneak pretty far south, and then more widespread cooler air. And then this is when the moisture starts setting up. And I'll show you that here in a second, but there'll be a big time boundary. But you get into the weekend and it really starts to be chilly. This is potential high temperatures, and this is probably with rain or some kind of moisture because there's going to be a system, so it's going to be more rain, cooled air. But look how far south highs in the 40s are Friday, and then just chilly weather setting up. But with this chilly weather, there's going to be some kind of storm system, and check it out. Next Saturday morning, very cold temperatures. I really think next weekend is going to be a very chilly weekend for the entire first full weekend. So if you're like me and like to put up all your Christmas decorations out really, really early, which I plan to do the Sunday after I get home from Gatlinburg next Sunday, the weather is going to feel right for it, if you will, so very chilly weekend potentially next weekend, and we'll continue to talk about that. You look at the European, same thing. The European doesn't dive down the cold air as quick, but it's about the same, honestly. Maybe not quite as quick, but you get into Thursday, then you get into Friday, and then it starts to pretty much push off any warm air left. And these are potential high temperatures Friday. High temperatures, not low temperatures. So look how, highs in the 50s and 40s, almost all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. So it's very interesting. At the same time, there's going to be some kind of, and this is the European, there's going to be some kind of storm system. That's why I'm showing these really cold temperatures right here in the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic. Moisture will be falling in this area, and it's trying to tell us that there potentially could be a system around. So there's two areas of energy. We're getting into next week, and what we're looking here is basically vortices. I showed it in hurricane season a lot too, but it shows us a good idea of where the pieces of energy are. So you have this big piece of energy coming down off the northern stream. Then you have some kind of piece of energy down here. Will they link up? And here it goes. Here it comes swinging through. Will you get a closed off circulation, not circulation, but a closed off piece of energy here that really can warp up together and really form a strong system, especially potentially could form a northeastern off the coast of the Northeast. So we'll continue to watch that. It's still kind of up in the air, but you look at the European as far as what precipitation looks like. The European is very aggressive. Thursday morning already has a area of frozen precipitation in parts of Kentucky, even Tennessee, and definitely, I've been saying this the whole time, West Virginia could really get hit by this. This moves through, not really enough cold air with this first little wave. But as the system, according to the European, starts to really get going, it really starts to strengthen and kind of ride up the East Coast. And then there's some backside moisture. And at this point, the colder air has sinked through. And, look at this. A wintry mix, potentially snow, just rain, cold rain, or heavy wet snow starts to break out across Ohio, Kentucky, and maybe the plateau of Tennessee, and obviously the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia. And then cold air continues to wrap in as we're getting into the weekend. The mountainous area stretching all the way up from North Carolina, Tennessee, all the way up into West Virginia, parts of Pennsylvania, the interior areas in the Northeast. It could just flat out be a wintry weekend, like we're in the beginning of December instead of the beginning of November. I'll be in Gatlinburg, so I'll keep y'all covered there. It's going to be very interesting weekend setting up and end of the week. As far as what is this storm going to do, but this system lingers around. So I'm trying to, personally, it's a difficult one to figure out. And, you look at the GFS, it shows the system, but not near as aggressive with such an explosive low pressure. Pops the low pressure off here, gets it going here. There's a short wave of energy here off the north flank of this low pressure, if you will. There's enough cold air in the mountainous areas of West Virginia and Virginia to have wet snow and accumulating snow. Then that moves it, and then that's it. It doesn't really have a gigantic storm on the GFS. And then you look at the snowfall accumulations according to the GFS, and maybe an inch or two of snow in the mountainous areas of Virginia, maybe close to Boone. You look at the European now. This is the operational run, much more aggressive. So it'll be interesting. Very interesting to see what happens here. This goes all the way up to about next Monday morning, showing a lot of snow. And the weirdest area it's showing snow at is Ohio and Pennsylvania. And these aren't mountains really here, guys. This is just regular non-mountainous areas, and showing a lot of snow in this area. This would be pretty rare for this area. Sorry if y'all hear a train in my background. It's just blowing its horn away, even though the train tracks are about 4 miles away. But this would be significant snow for these areas for this time of the year. I want to show you a couple areas here closer to my area in the North Carolina mountains and Tennessee mountains. But this is Boone. This is the EPS ensembles. So there is a strong signal for snow starting around the November 4th to 5th time frame with this system. Very strong signal. That's a 3-inch mean out of 50 different members. You look at Asheville, North Carolina, there is it's almost a signal of around an inch of snow on the EPS means. Now these fluctuate back and forth big time, but there's a lot of members showing snow. Then you look at Gatlinburg, around the Gatlinburg area, there's a strong signal here. I'm showing this because that's where I'm going, guys, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens here. And there's a pretty strong signal for snow even here, so very, very interesting storm. If you're going to the mountains this coming weekend or heading north, pay attention to this storm. It really could get kind of interesting. So I can keep y'all updated. Thank y'all for the amazing support. Hit that subscribe button, and y'all have a blessed rest of your weekend. And I'll try to get a video sometime in tomorrow. I'll be very busy with trick-or-treating and church and everything, but I'll keep y'all updated on what's going on. God bless everybody.